questions. I am with Allison Beardsley. So she is the owner of the Red Light Method. It is a boutique fitness studio in Arkansas, and they utilize red light therapy in group power plate classes. When I first met Allison on like Wednesday, I was like, this is really cool what you're doing. Do you mind doing a Facebook Live and an interview so we can just share your story? Because I think it's just super unique. I mean, I work with, we use red light therapy in my business every day. And I work with a lot of business owners that utilize red light therapy. So, and you're not healthcare, which most of the people I work with are healthcare. Is that correct, Allison?
Yeah, that's correct. I'd say we're more in the area of boutique fitness, like in the same genre as like Club Pilates, Orange Theory, Pure Barre, but we're a hybrid and we're doing something that hasn't been done at all yet so far. So
yeah, and so explain, if you don't mind, like what's your background?
So I've been in the boutique fitness industry since the year 2000. I have a million different personal training certifications and mainly Pilates, and my undergrad was kinesiology, and yeah, so I founded a brand in December 2007 called Club Pilates in San Diego, and so we grew that brand and franchised it to 40 units open and 80 in development, and then I sold Club Pilates in March of 2015, and so I've been kind of semi-retired, and then I discovered red light therapy when I turned 40 because I'm all natural in my regimens and stuff. And so I discovered it with the Omnilux face stuff and everything. So I started using it there, and and then I learned about the whole body.
Who recommended it to you?
You know, this is this is really funny. I have a guilty pleasure of like staying up late sometimes and watching YouTube and watching Angie with Hot and Flashy. And so that's where I learned about red light therapy. Was she has this really awesome, she does a bunch of like face care stuff and she looks fantastic. She's like 60 and looks like she's 30. And so that's like a guilty pleasure. I haven't done it in like a year or two, watched Angie with Hot and Flashy, but I love her show. And so I learned about red light therapy through her. And then I bought the Omnilux, and then I later learned about the full body contouring stuff and just have had amazing results. And so it took me out of retirement back into the industry. So I've been back in as a brick and mortar business owner for the last year.
So and what full body like red light devices have you used?
I've used, I believe, the one's called Trifecta, and then I've used Contour Light, and we currently use Contour Light in our business. And I've done a ton of research. I'm a research nerd. And just since I'm building a franchise system, I had to have the only FDA cleared system in the United States. So that was super important for me, just to prevent class action lawsuits and stuff like that as a franchisor. I think for a one-off, you're fine using a non-FDA cleared system. But if you're selling business models to people and they're investing hundreds of thousands of dollars into a business, and you're creating all the systems and they're following, you gotta like dot every I and cross every T. So yeah.
And so I guess explain next. And you're in Arkansas. Where are you in Arkansas?
So I'm in Bentonville, Arkansas. It's Northwest Arkansas, and it's where the founders of Walmart started Walmart here. So it's really nice. Like Northwest Arkansas is beautiful. It's the mountain bike capital of America. We have mild 4 seasons. It's crazy how I ended up here because I never thought I'd leave the West because I've lived my whole life in San Diego, Northern California, Tahoe, and Arizona. I've always lived out there. And so just by a crazy answered prayer, actually, we moved out to the Ozarks 2 years ago. And so it's been awesome. We love it. I love it. 4 seasons. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm in Michigan and I can appreciate the 4 seasons. I know in Michigan, we kind of get tired of winter. To me, I get tired of winter like February, March, like right at the end, and then spring's hit and it's like, oh, thank God. But overall, like I enjoy the snow a little bit. And stuff like that. I always grew up playing hockey. But anyway, back to the red light therapy stuff. So what makes your studio unique? you're utilizing red light therapy how with your fitness studio?
So our business model is two parts. And part one is everyone goes into a private treatment room and they get a 25-minute to 30-minute contour light body contouring treatment. And we wrap the whole body. We wrap different things depending on what people need. And then after their treatment, we have classes going on 5 minutes after and 35 minutes after that are continuous on the power plate. So we do 25-minute group power plate classes. And every week we stream different classes. So we're building that library right now of classes. So the members always get something different. But I'd say the biggest thing is we're making it super affordable. Like our members can come unlimited for $199 a month, and they can get unlimited red light therapy using the contour light system. And as you know, and we have 10 treatment rooms, so we can see 20 people an hour. So we're different because we're doing volume and we're doing membership based, and we're making it affordable and accessible compared to clinics. Like I know there's a few like chiropractors and naturopaths in our area who offer this, and it's much more expensive. They sell their packages for like $2,000 for 20 sessions, and ours, people can come 30 times for $200 a month. So it's, but they're doing a year commitment. So
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we'd kind of discuss this, but like, you have to definitely make sure your business model fits you as far as to keep the lights on and everything like that. But I think that what you're doing is awesome. Did you discuss the power plate classes? How does it go after that? As far as after the red light, you do the power plate. Yeah,
you do the power plate class. Because as you know, the studies on the red light therapy body contouring, they need to do at least 10 minutes of power plate to move the lymph, because the fat cells get gently released into the lymph system. And then the lymph doesn't have a pump. So it's only pumped through massage or exercise. Or the power plate, which is like 10 minutes on it is almost like a 30-minute jog. If you jog like me, I'm a wussy jogger. So it's awesome. But so we are doing the 25-minute power plate classes, and the power plate's just out of this world. It's the most amazing. Like my husband's a former professional mountain biker and does like Ironmans, and former Marine, and he's fit. Like he loves to suffer. Like he's ran the Grand Canyon, like rim to rim to rim. Like that's just, he just loves to torture himself. His resting heart rate's like 30. And, he doesn't get sore really, but when he works out on the power plate, he gets sore. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm sore. So for a person who prefers low intensity like me, I definitely like more like foofy, gentle exercise, and he's super extreme. But for both of us, we're able to both get like a great, stay fit on it in less time. And it's wild. Just like the first time I went on the power plate, I was tracking my heart rate on my Apple Watch, and I was like, wow, like I'm shocked. My heart rate is like, it's like I'm sprinting right now or running hard. It was wild. So
what kind of exercises do you do on the power plate? Like what does a group class look like on there? You're not just standing and it's vibrating. Right?
Oh no. Yeah. We're not just standing. So we'll start, we do minute intervals. And so every 60 seconds we move to a different exercise. So the first couple of minutes will be like a warm up, like marching, knees bent, that sort of thing. Like maybe some mini knee bends or squats. And we do it all levels. So we start with progression. So we even have these stools for our elderly people who maybe standing on the power plate's too much for them, or they just sit on a stool and place their feet on the power plate. So they get the vibration that way to help move the lymph. So that's for our most elderly people. And then we do a lot of exercises from different step ups and different lunge type things. We incorporate dumbbells or rubber bands or Bosu balls. We do planking on it, tricep dips, and we start with progression. So we start with like the most modified version of a plank on like elbows, forearms, knees kind of thing. For the people who are able to get down to the ground, if they're not able to get to the floor, which as you know, as a physical therapist, not everybody can get up and down from the floor.
Right.
So we have different modifications, but it ends up being a full body, and the stretching on the power plate is my most favorite. It is wild to stretch on it. Like you just get so much. Like my daughter, she's a 13 and she's pretty tight. And when she goes on the power plate and stretches, she's like, her head's down to her knees after like 2 minutes of stretching her hamstrings. It's amazing. But we just do a full body workout. So we'll do, start with like warm up and a little. I'm going to pause a second.
Oh.
I see you scratching your nose.
Sorry. Yeah. You were cutting out on me a little bit. So sorry, you were saying like, you'll start out, you were talking about your daughter stretching and then a warm up and then Yeah, sorry. So if you could repeat that a little bit.
Yeah. So so my daughter, when she starts stretching and then she does the warm up, she goes from being very tight and stiff to being able to like bend her face. Like she can like stretch and bring her head to her knee after just stretching on the power plate for like a minute on each hamstring. It's pretty amazing. But we work the whole body out. So upper body, lower body, front body, side body, and just divide it up. So the members all get a full body workout. So
nice.
Yeah.
What is the biggest, so with the combination of the two, like what's the biggest benefit that you see with combining the two?
It's just so.
How is it different than just doing like a regular club Pilates or an Orange Theory? Like, how do you feel different? What separates it?
Well, I think the movement into technology. So it's like the ultimate in like biohacking, at least for what's current right now. Like, I think that red light therapy is the closest thing we have to the fountain of youth currently. And I know like Ari Witten's book on red light therapy, he has a really powerful introduction where he's like, if you could get all of these things in a pill, it would be like a blockbuster $1 billion industry. And he's like, you could do that, but it's done through light therapy. And that's what we're just seeing amazing things. So we just did our first year and we're over 300 members now, which is awesome. And
amazing.
And we've just seen amazing things we wrap people who have diabetic neuropathy will wrap their feet and they're able to feel their feet again. And we have people who've been accused of having facelifts. So one of our top members, Tracy, like she didn't see her friends for like 6 months. And one of her friends is like, oh my gosh, girl, you had a facelift. And she's like, I didn't have a facelift. It's just red light therapy. And Tracy's she's down like 60 or 80 pounds or something amazing. And so she just comes in and does her thing. She's like VIP, so she gets a key. So she's like, she comes in after hours and stuff.
She gets a special treatment a little bit.
Yeah, because she's like my angel. She's referred me like 50 members. So
you got to take care of those people. That's for sure.
Yes, you do. No, for sure. So she's got a key. She comes in after hours. So yeah, it's awesome. But
for your own body, what have you noticed the biggest effects with?
Oh wow, my energy. I like the energy because I feel like I'm in my 20s again and I'm in my mid 40s. And so my energy, my skin, I have a picture of me from 10 years ago where I look 10 years younger now than I did back then. Like back then I looked 10 years older than I look today. And so red light therapy's totally helped my skin. And like, I don't do Botox or fillers or anything. I'm all natural. So my skin is improved. I don't have aches or pains. So I used to be a basketball player before I got into Pilates. And so I have a partial torn rotator cuff and I used to get drop foot and my ankles are missing their talofibular ligament. Like I was a hot mess. That's how I got into Pilates. And, cause that helped me a lot, but I have no aches, no pains, shoulders good. Like I'll regularly, cause I've done PRP in this as well, which has helped PRP and red light. And it's like, my shoulder's fine. As long as I don't try to do a real push-up, I'm good.
Okay.
So, and then just everything, no knee pain. Cause I had my ACL redone in the 90s and that's pretty janky job. So, but as long as I don't try to be Michael Jordan, I'm good with the knee. So, but everything's good. Like no stiffness in the back. And I can't even say that when in my Club Pilates days, like I would used to like wake up and still have some stiffness and then get warmed up and stuff. But now it's like, I didn't even notice when I didn't notice that I have no stiffness. So my joints feel amazing. And then it's definitely helped. I gained in my 40s, I don't even know, 20 or 30 pounds. I'm 6 feet tall, so I can hide it good. But I got a little fluffy in the midsection and the red lights, I'm back down to my fighting weight of like when I was a teenager. So that's amazing. Awesome. And it's the red light therapy. I also eat like a healthy keto and all that kind of stuff. So
right. Like, so what I tell people too is like, you really need to, red light's going to help a lot, but we do need to make sure, I always educate on like lifestyle changes. Like, let's make sure we're dialing in your nutrition, your exercise, your sleep, all of those things versus, just expecting this to work miracles. But then if you're continuing to drink a bunch of alcohol and smoke and eat like crap, well, you're only going to get so far. We need to, if your goal is to improve your health and everything, we need to optimize those other things as well. But yeah,
oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say one of the things that helped me, and I always tell the people the same thing. I'm like, this is not a magic bullet. It's a rocket turbocharger booster to a healthy lifestyle. So it's like, if you want to get from here to here 10 times faster, use red light. But if you still have to eat healthy, and you can't, because I've had people, because we're so affordable, people sometimes will be a little lazy on their diet. And they're like, well, I've been doing this 3 months and I haven't noticed anything. And I'm like, have you changed your diet? And they're like, no. And I'm like, like, we have everything up. Like, we do a whole education thing for members. But I think that that's one of the benefits of when you charge $100 of treatment. People are like, they got skin in the game. Like, they're like, oh, snap. I'm not just spending $99 a month to come 8 times a month or whatever. I'm spending $100 a session. So I'm going to be serious on my diet, because that's a lot of money. Yeah. And so I think that that's where people but are people who get it and they're like, oh, these treatments, like, we have a new member and she's like, last time I did this, I paid $500 for one of these treatments. And her Google review is like, oh my gosh, these are normally $500. I don't know where she paid that much, but that's what she paid.
500 is a little crazy, but yeah.
Yeah, but
it's a little crazy.
Oh, but what I was going to say when I interrupted you, sorry, that was
No, you're good.
The glucose testing. I've been testing our fasting blood sugar and then testing just different things and that has been huge. Cause like, I really wanted to get the continuous monitor, but I was like, I'm not ready to like drop that dough right now. Like, let me try like the $30 alternative. And I've learned so much, at least for myself, because both of my parents, like, I have a very long line of type 2 diabetes in my family, and both my parents are skinny. Like, my mom's 5'8", 140 pounds, pre-diabetic, and my dad's 5'10" and 160 and pre-diabetic, and they're not like heavy and all the stuff. And if I have like a Sam Adams beer, because I used to love beer and that was like my weakness, I'll wake up and I'll be pre-diabetic. Or if I have a cup of rice or any simple carb for my genetics makes me pre-diabetic. I know not everybody's like that, but I think that changed for me in my late 30s, early 40s when I added the extra weight to my body. But now I have it down, but my body is very sensitive to those simple carbs. And I've been testing my teenage kids, and my 13-year-old daughter this morning, she baked cookies last night. And I was like, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't eat the poison.
Yeah.
And this morning she was pre-diabetic on her blood sugar, and she's 13 and she's fit, and it's crazy. So I think so many people have that and they're not even aware of it because they're not testing every morning. So I think that that's a good place for people to start to check. We've had a bunch of our members start testing their blood sugar, and it's shocking. And my friends testing their kids, and they're shocked that their teenagers are pre-diabetic. It's insane.
Just curious, have you seen a change then in your glucose levels when you use red light therapy, like from using it? To be honest, I don't know if it would change things or not. I know it won't hurt.
I'm not sure. So no, because for me, it's because I do red light therapy almost every day, sometimes twice a day. Like, if I'm feeling like sore or I worked out too much or something like that, I'll do it twice a day. But I do it almost every day. And for me, it's just my diet. So it is 100%. Like, if I eat like a regular piece of bread and it's not like keto bread that has like 20 grams of fiber, then I will have pre-diabetic blood sugar levels the next day. So, and if I don't work out too, if I skip out, and even if it's just 30 minutes on the ellipticals, all I have to do, but I have to do something to push that glucose into the muscles. Yeah. And that's where the exercise part's so important as well. Like the exercise, the diet, and I just think maybe we're more sedentary because my kids are homeschooled and they're not playing sports. Like, they're active.
We're 100% more sedentary. It's crazy. Like, they're cutting, they cut recess from schools and stuff like that. And initially, like, when I first heard about that and I didn't know any better, I'm like, oh yeah, like, makes sense. Like, we need to get smarter, right? We're in school to like learn. But so much a part of learning and brain health and cognitive function is that exercise portion. And if like kids are just, in general, kids, adults, everyone, we're just sitting around with our phones and our tablets and our computers. Totally. We aren't moving, and it's it's making us sick.
It is. No, definitely. And same with the light. Like I'm down here in my basement and there's no there's no light. Like
No
it's
sunlight. Yeah.
yeah, and we're light starved. Like
Oh
we
yeah. Well, that's why red light therapy works so well. Like if you could
yes.
if you lived outside every day, like I don't think you would have, I don't think we'd have as many issues. I don't think
Totally.
red light therapy would even necessarily be maybe it wouldn't be as effective, but there is that red and near infrared light in the sun's rays and everything like that, which is why our bodies respond. That's why, there's
Yeah.
that biohacking effect, is because we have disconnected ourselves from the earth a bit, and our biological systems have not evolved as much as our technology and everything like that has evolved and taken us, away from being in the outdoors for sure.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And I even like magnesium. Like I hear that we used to absorb magnesium from the soles of our feet on the earth, absorbing it from the skin or like through our skin, through the earth. But the soil is so depleted and most people are super magnesium deficient. So
I have not heard that about magnesium, but I'm not going to count it out. If you've checked out the documentary with the grounding documentary, it's called the Earthing movie or whatever.
Yeah.
It's wild. And
Yeah.
I have looked up the research on earthing, and it's small sample sizes and everything like that. And I think there can be more sample, but there's clearly some evidence that just simply standing barefoot outside helps.
Yes.
And I just recommended today to a patient. So we have I use a grounding pillowcase now. So I ground at night in my sleep to try and help with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I used to live in San Diego, I'd hike Torrey Pines every day barefoot. Because it's beautiful. It's like you're on the ocean. It's sandy.
Yeah.
Like my feet were so soft from the exfoliation from barefoot hiking, but that was awesome.
Nice.
I miss that because it's kind of hard to barefoot hike other places.
Michigan in the winter would be a tough time.
You'd get pretty cold. So.
So who would you recommend, like for red light method? Who is your niche, and who would you recommend to try the red light method?
Yeah. So red light method, we have such a broad, because I used to do demographics for Club Pilates, and Club Pilates, we had our avatar. It was like the 30 to 45-year-old female and but we have such a broad net at red light method. Like we have that 30 to 45-year-old female, but then we also have older gentlemen in their 80s that used to like be in World War II or whatever, jumping out of the airplanes. And like, we have like war veteran heroes coming who have like artificial knees and hips, and they get all wrapped and they're seeing huge benefit. Like, so we have such a vast array of members. I think anybody who wants to get rid of aches and pains and feel better and sleep better, because that's another thing that helps so much is the sleeping. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's like a perimenopausal woman thing, but every woman I know sleeps like crap, like from a certain age on, and the red light therapy just huge improvement.
That's the biggest thing I usually tell people to notice with the red light therapy is sleep is going to be sleep and energy levels are typically the two things that people notice the most. And then skin pretty quickly, how their skin feels, aches and pains. I had a gentleman last week who he had some shoulder pain, and he was mind blown. Like he's had this issue for so long, and then he does one session, and I'm like, okay, touch your shoulder again. Like I didn't know what was going to happen. He's like, oh my gosh. He's like, it doesn't hurt. And he's getting his arm way up there, and like he, is telling his wife and everyone at work about it and everything like that. So I think we froze again a little bit.
It's a miracle. I think it froze a little again.
It is. I can hear you now. Now we're good. But yeah, is there anything else you want to hit on? I appreciate you coming on here and talking about this.
Yeah. I guess maybe, let me think what else.
If people have questions for you, what's the best way to contact you? Or obviously you're getting, into the franchise stuff. If you want to explain, I guess a little bit about franchising, how did you get into that? And if people want to be a franchisee of the red light method, how should they contact you?
Yeah. The best way to contact me is email, and it's Allison, Allison @ redlightmethod.com. And so email's a great way. And franchising, because I've been in franchising for a while. And franchising, I feel like is just such a great way for entrepreneurship for so many people. I used to believe that everybody was an entrepreneur, and I learned the hard way that no, not everybody's an entrepreneur. And like when we talked on Wednesday, you have that systems mind, but not everybody has that, like how to create systems and make something replicable and scalable. And I think one of my niche like skill sets is how to create a system and a business that can run and you don't have to be there. Like it runs and maybe you spend 5 hours a month on it or 10 hours a month, but this business is running for you and it's simple and it's systemized. And so that's like one of my favorite things. But I think franchising is just awesome, especially if you get involved in the right franchise, because it's much easier sometimes to follow systems than to reinvent the wheel. And even in just our first year of business, we learned so many costly mistakes and we got our systems refined. And this is my second franchise baby. So it's just learning what I did with Club Pilates. And now there's like 900 Club Pilates in America. And it's crazy. Club Pilates is huge.
Yeah.
But
good for you for starting that.
Yeah, it was a blessing. And it was on the same principle of like, how can I help and serve as many people and make something that was once so elite that only Oprah and Madonna did it? How can I make it so like your school teacher can do it and your police officer and that sort of thing? And so that's what we're doing with Red Light Method. And you get a lot of discounts when you order in volume. So it's like if normally these lights are like what, $35,000 a set. But if you're ordering
minimum.
Yes, minimum. Exactly. And so if you're ordering 10 sets of them, I won't say the amount out loud, but it's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing.
It's obviously things in bulk. And yeah, I mean, with franchising, I think you're paying for a system, you're paying for a proven model that you can turnkey, right? That's what you want. But yeah, if you aren't a business owner, if you are a business owner too, and you have your own business, whether you have red light therapy or no matter what it is, I think what so many small business owners struggle with is creating those systems. And if you don't have the systems in place, you're just running around with your head cut off all day.
Totally.
And I've learned that.
Yeah. And there's a really good book I read by, Kiyosaki and Trump, and it's the BI quadrant. And so it's how you go from employee to self-employed to business owner to investor. And most people who own a business, they're not business owners and investors, they're self-employed. So that means that they're having to work in there. So to jump from self-employed, like most lawyers and doctors, their business is 100% dependent on them. And if they're not doing their hours each week, so really they have they're like a glorified employee. And I would say 95% of people who have a business are a glorified employee, and it gets exhausting. Like,
they can't step away and have it continue to operate. Like,
yes.
And I think it depends, like you need to have a vision though on what your business is and what you want it to do, because if you don't want to deal with people and you're okay with that, I think that's fine. Like, just understand though, that when you walk away or you want to take a vacation or whatever, you're not going to have income there. But if you have the right systems in place, the right people in place, everything like that, you can walk away. Like, that's been my goal too, is, I had back surgery and I was able to luckily step away for 6 weeks, and my business kept running because I have an awesome team and we've really implemented some good systems, and things can definitely be fine tuned. We're still constantly working at that, at refining our systems. But I had we had our baby on September 1st, first kid, and I was able to step away for 2 weeks, and I'm not sweating. Like, I don't sweat at all because I know we've got the right systems in place.
That's awesome. Yeah. So nope, that's awesome. No, I'm so excited, and it's cool to connect with other red light folk. And I think that red light is going to really, I don't think like a wave coming in. We're barely like building, like the wave hasn't
We're at the beginning. No, we're at the very beginning.
Yeah. So it's new, and it's not like people don't know what they don't know yet. So.
I think what's so good about right now is the general public is finally starting to hear about, I've heard about red light therapy.
Yes.
So that curiosity is being piqued, and people are more likely to like seek it out, yet it's not oversaturated yet. I think it's coming to a point though where it could be.
Mm-hmm.
for sure in the future, but we're not there yet. If you're looking at getting into it, now is definitely the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then I don't even, yeah, the whole oversaturation thing, it reminds me of Club Pilates. Because I remember when we first started, there was only like San Diego County had like 10 Pilates studios. Now San Diego County has like 300 Pilates studios. And you could say it's oversaturated, but people are still opening. So I think it's like the more like there's that abundance of like, it's abundant. So there's,
There is definitely more of an abundance than people think. That's all mindset here. Cause like people are like, oh, like, you know, our area, for example, right now, there's way too many physical therapy clinics. It's like, or something like that, or chiros or whatever your niche is.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's so many people in pain and hurting. Like there's no way to be able to like treat them all that one clinic can do that, or 5 clinics.
Totally.
Like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
people are only, like we said, getting sicker and more unhealthy. So we need more people like you, Allison, that are helping people out. So
well, and you too. So,
well, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on here and doing this. I've learned a lot of good stuff, and we'll talk soon.
Okay, sounds good. Have an awesome weekend.
Yeah, you as well. We'll see ya.
Okay, take care.